Hey guys, so tonight I am making a charred eggplant with a meat sauce pasta dish. You want a nice large firm eggplant. I've already washed it. We're going to cut it in half lengthwise. I'm going to put it on a roasting pan. I just lined mine with aluminum foil. I'm going to drizzle both sides with extra virgin olive oil. And I'm going to salt and pepper each side as well. Oh, how rude. Sorry. Flip these guys over. Just going to swirl it into the oil. It's going to stay face side down. And I have the oven preheated to 425 degrees. And we're going to roast these on the very top rack. Until they look like deflated flat tires. So we're going to get that in. And that should take about 20 minutes. I have a Dutch oven, or you can use a large stainless steel lipped pan because this is going to be a pasta dish. I have 1 pound of ground pork. You can use hot Italian sausage, you could use half sausage, half beef. It is completely up to you what you want to use for ground meat. So I'm going to let that heat up first before I add the meat to the pan. All right, so now that the Dutch oven is heated up, I'm going to put a few swirls of extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to put in the pound of ground pork. Ooh, throw my utensils. So before I start to mix this, I'm going to add a fat pinch of onion powder. A fat pinch of chili flakes, about 1/8 of a teaspoon of allspice, not too much because it is strong, about 1/2 a teaspoon of chili powder, about 1/2 a teaspoon of cumin. I'm actually going to add a little bit more chili powder just for good measure, so let's say a teaspoon altogether. I'm going to do a little bit of granulated garlic. I am going to put fresh minced garlic in as well. A nice pinch of salt. And a nice pinch of black pepper. Get this in there. Just so all the flavors are nice and combined with all the pork. And now we're just going to continue to let this brown. You don't want to add in the garlic yet, only because you don't want the garlic to burn. So I saw this recipe on Rachel Ray. Don't mind the crazy dude just got out of work, so we're just trying to put this all together. This is a 30-minute meal. So we're going to let this continue to brown, and then I'll show you the other flavors that we add into it as the eggplant is starting to char in the oven. Alright, so now that the sausage, well, I made it kind of a sausage. Now that the pork has browned, I'm going to add in a couple of fat squeezes of tomato paste. I like the ones in the tube because they last much longer. So about 2 tablespoons. All right. Now let the heat wake up the tomato paste because it has been sitting in this tube for a little bit. And as that awakens, I'm going to grate in some garlic. just so there's no big pieces. Plus when the garlic hits that heat, when it's grated like this, oh, it smells so good. It's like an Italian restaurant in my own little tiny itty bitty kitchen. A couple more. Ooh, last one. So a trick to get the scent of like onions or garlic off your fingers, if you have most of us have stainless steel for our kitchen sinks. Get your fingers wet, rub them together a little bit, and then rub your fingers on the stainless steel, and it actually takes the pungent smell out. Something to do with stainless steel. All right. Now that I can smell the garlic and the tomato paste, I'm going to add in, I canned up regular tomatoes myself. So it's like your own crushed tomatoes. You want about 28 ounces of crushed tomatoes. So I'm just gonna use 2 quart jars because they weren't completely packed full. Sounds really gross though, I know, I'm sorry. I'm gonna give this a mix. You're gonna let the tomatoes heat up. I'm gonna put a lid on it. And then I have my trusty potato masher. And then I'll mash these once these get warm to break it up a little bit. So I'm gonna cover this up and I'm gonna let it simmer for about 15 minutes. Apologies, I actually forgot to add one thing. 1 cup of stock. Now I'll mix it together. I have it on high, so I'm gonna let that simmer in. As the sauce is cooking down, I have a pot of boiling water. Salt it like to see. You wanna make sure that your water is boiling before you put the salt in so you don't scar the bottom of your pot. I have rigatoni. You want a short grain pasta, something that's sturdy, that will stick up to the meat sauce. You want to cook it 1 minute shy of the package directions, so I'm going to cook it for 9 minutes. And that's because there's going to be carryover cooking. So this has come up to a boil. I'm going to take the cover off. That means the tomatoes have gotten nice and hot. I'm going to start crushing them. You can get a jar of crushed tomatoes, so you don't have to worry about doing this step. I figured to save myself money, I already had these canned up, and I'll just take care of it myself. I'm actually going to add in about a half a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. Only because I would recommend getting crushed tomatoes that are flavored with some Italian seasoning. I'm sorry. All right, so I'm just going to continue to crush these for a couple minutes. All right, so the pasta is 1 minute shy, actually. Before I do that, get some of that water. Drain it. There for right now. For a moment. So we're going to take out the eggplant. To make it a 30-minute meal, you want to have the oven set at the highest temperature you have, which would be 500 for mine. All right. Take those off. Have those flipped upside down real quick. Let them cool off just enough where you can handle it, because this pulp is going inside that sauce. We don't have to wait any extra time. Just take the back of your knife, hold it down with a pair of tongs, and scrape the insides out. I'll put this aside for a minute. And this will help thicken the sauce as well. Yummy! Alright. Take that cover off. I left it on so it wouldn't splatter all over the place. I'm gonna shut the heat off. I'm actually going to bring it over here. I'm going to add the eggplant in. Give that a good mix around. And that's how hot this Dutch oven keeps this. It's still boiling and it's not even on heat. Good mix. Alright. I'm going to add the pasta in. And this is why you want to short it a minute. Just because there's carryover cooking. I think I need a bigger Dutch oven. Alright, so we're going to continue to mix this. So to mix this in true fashion, because my pot is not big enough, I'm going to put it in this pan. Get my runaway noodles. Going about 3/4 of a cup of pasta water, because that helps incorporate it, because it has that starch. I'm going to do about 1/2 cup of grated Parmigiano and give this a good mix. So all the pasta is nice and dressed in the sauce. There is going to be plenty of leftovers because it's just my husband and I. But I do make meals like this just so we can have them for the week. I'm going to dish this up, top it with a little more cheese, and we're going to enjoy. As I said, I'm going to plate this up. I'm going to use a ladle. Just a couple scoops. Just because you want all that yummy sauce, crushed tomatoes, eggplant, the pasta. Top it with some more cheese, and voila.